What is it with Donald Trump and presidents who try to start coups and his affinity for them? Now he's siding with the former president of Brazil, Bolsonaro, who is facing 10 years in prison and an upcoming criminal trial because, like Donald Trump, and after January 6th, he started a coup, but he couldn't get all three of the major military leaders to join him, and he was left holding the bag with a fake coup that was modeled after Jan 6th when he tried to stop the peaceful transfer of power in Brazil when Lula won and he lost. And now Donald Trump wants to, repay a kindred spirit and reach his bony, decrepit, depraved hands into Brazil and try to influence Brazilian law, politics, and even sanction a Supreme Court justice of Brazil who is responsible for the indictment and the prosecution and the trial of Bolsonaro. What upside down world are we in? And all that's happened is now that Donald Trump has showed his true colors in siding with another dictator, another person who tried a coup to try to cling to power, and for all the world to see, along with other crimes that he's been charged with. Now that Donald Trump's true colors have been shown with a quote unquote 50% tariff because the values of America are being challenged. I don't know if he realizes Brazil's another country. They speak another language, Portuguese. They have their own constitution. They have their own version of the First Amendment, but it's not quite ours. And they're allowed to run their country that way. How many countries do you want to run into the ground? You're already running this one. Why don't you just focus on the economic security and the military security and the global economy and try to make our lives better, which you seem incapable of doing, and stay out of the affairs of sovereign countries, especially under phony reports that there's a trade deficit. He loves this term, which he doesn't apparently understand, because there is no trade deficit. There's a trade surplus, meaning they buy more from us than we buy from them by about $8 billion. So having your Treasury Department announce they're going to be doing sanctions against Supreme Court Justice Moraes, attention, United States Supreme Court justices, you may be next. They're going after Moraes because they don't like the way he has shut down certain conservative social media platforms because of hate speech on those platforms and put some people in jail. Well, that's their laws. I mean, that is that. I don't know exactly their constitution. I know they have one. I don't know exactly their First Amendment or their freedom of speech, but I know it's different than ours, just like Europe has a different version. But that's on them. You don't like it? Take something to the World Court. Oh, wait, I forgot. We backed out of the World Court. Take it to the UN. Oh, wait, I forgot. We backed out of the UN. I get that Donald Trump, birds of a feather. He loves Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro loves him. But the guy's been charged with everything from stealing Rolexes from the Saudis' gifts and trying to pawn them in a Pennsylvania mall, I'm not making this up, to starting a coup. I'm sorry, what country other than America would allow the loser of an election to try to interfere and start a military coup, and then when that failed, get people to try to be insurrectionists, and when that failed, who would allow that without criminally prosecuting them? Even we criminally prosecuted Donald Trump. If he didn't win the presidency again, he'd be in jail for it. And we have a whole different constitution. That's for another hot take. I'm Michael Popok. I'm all fired up. Here on Legal AF, hit the free subscribe button. It really helps. Now look, when I heard the announcement, Lula was given an interview on the New York Times just a couple days ago when this threat was made. And he said, look, I understand that the military might of America. I understand the economic might of America. I understand they're technologically more advanced. But we're a sovereign country. And we're not going to bow down to anybody. And now they're not. And the rest of the world is joining with Brazil. Of course, Canada, Mexico are going to join with Brazil and support them and their sovereignty. And Donald Trump's busy. You know, it's like whack-a-mole. Oh, I don't like what Canada did. They recognized Palestine. Oh, I'm going to whack them. Dude, you don't have that many hands to pull that many levers around the world. He's already abdicated, Trump, being the leader of the free world. He's a laughingstock of the free world. All he's done is he's become the great uniter. He's united the rest of the world against America. And now he's using his Treasury Department and Scott Bassett, who should be impeached, to go after Justice Moraes and take away his visa and do economic sanctions against him and his family because we don't like his rulings about whether Rumble, some right-wing conservative platform, is promoting hate speech or not, or X. When Bolsonaro was interviewed in January, he was begging Trump to have him interfere and either give him political asylum, or which he will, by the way. If he gets out somehow, he'll be given political asylum. I mean, right now, Justice Moraes has an ankle bracelet on Bolsonaro and has taken away his passport. But if somehow he gets smuggled out of Brazil, watch it. Trump's gonna he'll end up trying to take refuge in the U.S. embassy. It's coming. It's coming. Donald Trump loves a dictator, especially one who's got criminal tendencies. That's what we're watching, but we need to hold him accountable for it. So let's take away off the board all the lies. There is no trade deficit with Brazil. There's a trade surplus in America's favor. 30% of 30% of coffee comes from Brazil to America. Apparently, we're going to carve that out of the tariffs. There's no threat to American national security because they won't allow under their rules, their constitution, hate speech to be promulgated and promoted by MAGA down there to destabilize their country. Sounds like a more mature system than ours. And so they're not, and Moraes is a tough guy himself. I give him a lot of credit, this justice. He's jailed people for hate speech. He's tussled with Musk about X and wouldn't allow X to operate in Brazil for a period of time until certain fines were paid. He's running Brazil and the justice system there the way the Brazilians want it. They elected sovereign people. They have elections. They're a democracy. They've had a dictatorship in the past. They don't want it again. And they don't want Donald Trump forcing them into one. So the European Union, Mexico, Canada, China are all supporting Brazil. And this is what's happening. The irrevocable changes in the reordering of the relationships between the United States and the global world. You can't unbuild factories. You can't unbuild Chinese infrastructure. You can't unbuild jobs created by the Chinese and the Russians and other countries to turn them away from the United States. And we're doing a pretty good job shoving people away from the United States, not just turning them away. Like, well, I don't really like their policies, but no, we are promoting people and encouraging them to form alliances against America economically. I'm not saying militarily, but economically. And Brazil is an example. And if it's Brazil now, who's next? He's already attacked the NATO countries. He's attacked the EU. He's attacked Canada. He's attacked Mexico. He's attacked Indonesia. He's attacked every country. And he thinks it's without repercussion. And it is with repercussion. The tariff scheme, all the knives are out now with all of our trading partners and the market. And who's going to pay for that? Who's going to pay the price? The consumer. The red states are going to let me put it this way. Red states are going to get screwed by the tariffs. Put it down in the time capsule. Popok said it. The red states are going to get screwed by the tariffs. And our fight with Brazil, same thing. So in order to save the ass of a Trump acolyte and fellow criminal, Donald Trump is trying to upend the relationship between America and Brazil permanently. You think the Brazilians are going to forget this? You think going after Justice Moraes is going to be helpful in future relationships? I mean, when they asked the outgoing ambassador from the Biden administration about Bolsonaro begging Trump to intervene, she said talk about being naive. She said, no, America doesn't intervene in sovereign affairs. That's a remote possibility. I'm sorry, did she not know who just got elected? It's not a remote possibility. Bolsonaro tried to go to the inauguration. And Justice Moraes said, no, you're wearing an ankle bracelet and you're giving me your passport, but you're not going to the inauguration because he'd never come back. That was the other reason. He'd never come back to stand trial to the Brazilian people for what he stole and the coup that he started. He's going to go to jail for 10 years. And I don't think this is helping. You know, he's not going to get a pardon from Lula. He's going to go to jail for 10 years. Will somebody try to smuggle him out? Will he try to be like the WikiLeaks guy and go hole up in the U.S. Embassy? Yeah, if I were the U.S. Embassy, I'd lock and shut the doors. But, it's being run by the State Department under Donald Trump. So there is no country on earth that is safe from Donald Trump's depraved aspirations. Seriously. He can't run this country, yet he wants to run higher education, all of the major universities, Harvard, Columbia, hospitals, every aspect of life around the world. He goes to the EU and tells them what they should be doing about windmills and energy. He goes to, when he's over in Scotland, he goes to the UK and tells them they should deal with their immigration problem better the way he does. Why don't you, what's that phrase the kids use? Why don't you shut the F up and just do the job you were elected to do, and only the job that you were elected to do? Because you're not doing any of the things that people who even voted for you wanted you to do. They did not vote for you to F around with Brazil, the European Union, take on China, threaten war, bomb Iran. I mean, this was not what you ran on, and this is not what you got voted on. You got voted on to lower egg prices. You got voted in to lower gas prices. You haven't done any of that. They've only gone the opposite direction. We're in retrograde. So I'll continue to follow it right here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button, do it all again. All new videos every day, all 7 days a week, but with your support. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popok.
I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.